to start out by addressing the doxing issue that we were talking about. Our ICE agents, just like our Florida Highway Patrol, are our partners. We all ride together in this. We all are out here to make sure that we're protecting our citizens, protecting our communities. Many of them have been called to the border. Many of them have been called to other locations to deal with the amount of fugitives and things that are going on, detainers. So for us, we will have their back. We will work closely with Colonel Howes and his team in making sure that we're increasing patrol, we're watching them. Anybody that's doxing them, as the General said, we passed a law about 4 or 5 years ago that makes it illegal to dox here in the state of Florida. So anybody that's doing that, we will take them to full task on doing it. We will stand with you. I want to define a couple things, and our general was very kind in how he said things. I'm not as usually as elegant in how I say things. So I'm gonna first say that peaceful protests are part of our democracy. We invite people to share their opinions. That's what our country is all about. The key word in that is peaceful. And if it's peaceful, us in law enforcement are going to make sure you have a safe environment to do it in. That's part of that process. If you let it turn violent, you do not want to do that in Brevard County. I'm going to tell you that, and I believe I can speak for my fellow sheriffs around the rest of this.
He said, whoo. You already know he's going off the rails when he said that. This guy reminds me of the guys that I used to work with back in the day. Back in the 90s, the early 90s, it was crazy. And we needed no-nonsense men like him on the streets. Let's continue.
You don't want to let it happen. And just so there's no confusion, because I don't want to hear any whining later saying we didn't know, I'm going to break it down for you, all right? Because as you watch these riots unfold across the rest of the country, what you are seeing is buildings being burned down, police cars being bricked, having explosive devices thrown on them, having fire, guns pointed at them, bricks thrown at them, all and on. So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs.
And they're not getting paid enough. They're not getting paid enough to take on that type of, or that level of assault and violence. Here's what, shout out to this guy, man. Sheriff Ivey, I believe that's his name. Shout out to him. What's crazy is we finally have a sheriff that steps up, finally, and says, if you violently attack my officers, we will kill you. And people are losing their minds on the internet because he made that one statement. That's why I decided to play the entire video, because a lot of news outlets are only playing that. And then it gets you all in your feelings. But let me ask you a question. Where was all the same outrage when cities were burning, when police officers were getting hit with bricks, having Molotov cocktails being thrown at them, laser pointers aimed at their eyes, being assaulted? We've seen all the videos. We've seen it. Where was the outrage when innocent store owners, this is the crazy part about it, had their livelihoods torched to the ground. No one showed up to protect them. Not a single person. Where was the outrage then? Now, let me be clear. Sheriff Ivey didn't threaten peaceful protesters. Again, that's why I played the entire video. He laid down the law for the criminals who show up to the riot, they loot, they assault police, and honestly, more cities need sheriffs just like that guy. Because the truth is, police departments across the country have had their hands tied by weak mayors, woke politicians who care more about optics than order. You can't hug a rioter into compliance. You don't negotiate with arsonists. And you damn sure don't let people throw bricks at cops and call it activism. So when a sheriff says, you try to kill my deputies and we'll put you in the ground, that's not extreme. That's justice. It is what it is. And if that honestly makes you uncomfortable, maybe you've gotten a little too comfortable with lawlessness. I'm going to leave that there. What say you? Was he a bit too extreme or was he on point? Leave it in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.